Hey everyone, welcome. Let me take off my eye savers. How are you today? As they say, how you doing? I hope the answer is well or good or both. What's on the table today? Well, let me start by updating. I think that'll be the easier. Yes, I can jump for joy. They're almost done. I finished the knitting. Last time I only had one. This time this one is done. So I just have to tack the ends down and cut socks for mom. She'll have two socks, but you know that's not the end of it. They're for mom. So what am I going to have to do? They feel soft. Nice bed socks. It's a pity. I would love, love, love it if they made sock yarn that just felt so awesome and so soft. But we may not like to think about it, but our feet sweaty, smelly, some of us. Okay, so I guess they knew what they were doing when they created the sock yarn that they did. But these alternatives just feel so good to the touch. But mom, here these come, and I've got, mom, gift bag, gift bag, gift bag. Her colors, yellow and green. So I've got to find either a yellow gift bag or a green gift bag or a gold gift bag. Someone is coming and going to park their vehicle. Forgive the noise, but when you're outside, you have to deal with noise. So that's done. That was a success. Yes! The next thing I'm working on, and it's very humbling. I finished the rib. Remember this? The hat to be. I finished the rib by hand, and it looks terrible. Can you see the stitches are all uneven? I mean, you could drive a truck through this. They're all uneven. I'm like, was I worrying? What was going through my head that stitches are like this? Because me, I'm a control freak. My stitches tend to be even. But these, maybe if I wash them, you know what? I'm stressing. This is knitting, okay? This is not a car payment or a mortgage. I'm going to finish it because I want perfect, but life is perfectly imperfect. So I'm going to finish it. I'm going to attach it. I hate seams, but if I Kitchener, it'll be all right. And I still haven't figured out what to do for the top of the hat because I really want it flat. Who knew making a hat could be so stressful? Now I understand why most people just buy theirs. Okay, like when you go to pick out a hat, all you do is you like it, you try it on. This fit. That doesn't fit. No. Oh my God, no. Or yeah, this is it. Oh, well, at least the ribbing is done, so I can pat myself on the back for that. Okay, what else is going on? Also one of my less successful. Remember these? Last time you saw these, they were part of a sock that I made that it was just too rough. It made holes. The thing though is the yarn itself is soft. Maybe when I added the lycra, but I don't think lycra is that hard. Listen. Or maybe I didn't add lycra, maybe I put woolly nylon. Because those of you who make socks, especially when you whether you use the flatbed with ribba, the flatbed by itself, or the CSM, you know that lycra, once you put it in and you give it that steam, your socks will always keep their shape. None of this blocking. I don't understand why people block socks. I mean, your feet, when you put, sorry about that, when you put your foot in a sock, it sweats. So what are you blocking? Well, you know what? I don't have to understand. Different strokes for different folks. Okay? So, these I'm going to repurpose. Next time you see them, there'll be something else. Maybe there'll be ducks or something. I'll think of something. Okay? So, that's that. Success in one thing. Oh, not one thing, success in another thing. Remember these? This is the Serenity sock yarn that I turned into a tube, and I was thinking of putting yellow, but I couldn't find any yellow that matched in my house, and I did not want to be bothered trying to dye to that exact shade. That would drive me crazy. But now that I'm looking at it, maybe one of the greens would have worked, but then that would require dyeing. My dyeing mojo hasn't come back yet. But what did I find? This. And it's a perfect. Can you see that? It doesn't look like it on camera, but they're the same shade of pink. Isn't that interesting? On camera, they look so different. But believe me, to the naked eye, they're both the same shade of pink, and they're by the same company. So I've already cast on for the ribbing, the cuff, okay? And so next time you see them, hopefully I'll have at least one pair, because I'm going to do the cuff and the toe in this pink. At least I think so. And I don't know if I'll do a tube sock. I may decide to put in an afterthought heel. But it depends on how I feel when I'm working on it, because I reserve the right to change my mind and to do whatever I feel like at the moment. Hopefully, I'll feel like doing the same thing twice. Which reminds me, if you're making socks, do yourself a favor. Don't do some of the nutty things I do. Get a notebook and write down what you did with one sock. So even if it's 6 years later and you want to do the second sock, you can go back and from your notes, you can see exactly what you did, so you can create a second sock that matches. Because with these, I was driving myself, let me put these down. I was driving myself crazy because I couldn't remember how I did the top of one. So when it was time to the other one, I was like, I figured it out and I did the best I can. We're good. But note to self, and I have several notebooks in the house. I even have stickers that you can put on different pages to make it look nice. I need to write things down. And you know what else is really useful to write things down? You see this, the sock ruler? God bless whoever invented it. But one of the things I have found is, if you use this and this alone to make your sock, you get issues. Because sometimes when you push it in to measure the sock, you don't push it in the same way, you don't push it to the same depth, and you don't realize it. And when you make the second sock, you look and one sock is longer than the other, and you can't figure out what you did wrong. But if you write it down, write what you did for the first sock, write it down. Second sock, follow the instructions step by step. You will get a pair of matching socks. And yes, there are those of you, this works like a charm. No matter how many times you use it, your socks come out perfect. Fabulous. Okay? All of us are not so lucky. But this is really useful. You just have to figure out how to use it in the best way for you. Okay? I think is this my second one? I don't know. I have a habit of, well, never mind that. What else is going on? My Garveyite sock. I love these colors, but I keep saying that. And what am I going to say about something I made? I hate it. Unlikely. Possible, but unlikely. Okay, remember last time I told you all about the top. These ends are still, because I don't know, because I am capable of going home and taking the whole thing out, the cuff out, because I don't like it. Especially now that I've discovered. And I tried to tell someone and she said no. But this shade of green is different from this shade of green. Okay? You can't, inside it's harder to tell, but when you take it outside, it's definitely different. And what did I do? Remember the bottom here? It was black last time I showed you. I pulled all that out because you couldn't really see the stitches, and for middle-aged eyes, that wasn't working for me. So I'm using green for the toe here. It's still going to be a tube sock, at least I think so, but I'm going to make the toe in green, and I'm hoping and praying that I have enough green to do both toes. Okay? But the colors are really awesome. I knocked it out of the park the day I dyed this self-striping yarn. Oh, I know. I'm busy praising myself. Forgive me. Well, moving right along. Um, what is the next thing? Ah, this. This is a work in progress that I learned something doing it. This morning, I went on the Blue Devil and I decided I was going to make a sock with this one, isn't it? No, this isn't it. Where the top, you know how you have the cuff here? I decided I was going to do the cuff instead of a rib, but I wanted it to be on this side. Everyone calls it the wrong side. So, but I wanted a picot edging. So I put it on, I cast on, I put my bonnet, I did some rows of waste yarn, and I had this yarn that I dyed, and I did my picot. See that? I love it. It looks sweet. It really does. It has that really nice, delicate, feminine touch. You know, something no one associates with me. But I love it. I love it. I loved it. So I said, you know what? I took it off the Blue Devil and I said, I want to use the other side. So I took it off and I folded it back. And guess what? When you do that, the picots don't show. They don't. Disappointed, disappointed, disappointed. Oh, I probably have to do some sort of tuck stitch so that it really pulls down on the stitch, and then maybe I'll get the picot edging to show on this side. But for right now, just picot. I'm sure those of you who have experience in sock machines, you know all you do is move one stitch over and you leave the needle in working position, and when you go around it creates that valley, hill and valley, so you get this nice picot. So I love the delicacy and it looks really feminine, but it's not. This one, in order to use it, it's going to have to be on the wrong side, on the right side. The wrong side is not working with this. So back to the drawing board with this one. Okay. Excuse me. Oh, and here's this sock. Now this sock, you're gonna laugh at me. This one was funny. I have been looking at other people's socks, and their socks, especially the ones they do on the CSM, fabulous. Fabulous. I mean, people are doing tuck, they're doing rib, they're doing skip stitch. And I didn't even know you could do a skip stitch on the CSM. They're doing cables and trellises and color thingies and waves. Wow. Could I do those? Probably. It takes a little bit of patience. But as I said, most of the socks I make are for the princes and the princesses in the family. And I'm not putting so much work into a sock that I know someone is going to take with them to boarding school or on campus or wherever it is they're going to school this year. And the next time I see them, there'll be one sock and they can't tell me what happened to the other. So for now, until they're more mature and show that they can hold on to their socks, we're going to do the primary focus of this will be color and softness. Okay? Now this one, I thought, I see all these people and they're doing socks and it has a rib down the front, and I'm like, yay. So I should say gas up the Blue Devil, but as I said, I cast on, I put on the bonnet, I did some waist, I actually did the rib. Could you imagine? The rib for once came out perfectly without a hole. And then I decided every other stitch I would switch, so there'd be a cylinder stitch followed by a ribber stitch followed by as though you were doing a 1x1 rib. Guess what? When you do, this is what you get. It looks as though you have a socks with a flat face. Now, technically, this is rib. If you open it, you can see it's rib. But instead of the beautiful one rib with some stockinette followed by another row of rib, I've just got like mush face socks. I did not realize that to get the look that I see people doing, you have to do cylinder, 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 one rib, cylinder, cylinder. So it's more 4 by 1, 3 by 1, 5 by 1 rib as opposed to a 1 by 1. So I'm not sure if I should even bother to finish this. I've done it and maybe I can keep it around as a sample sock, but it just looks so weird. Maybe it'll look different if I dye it, but I don't know. I don't know. Well, it's always something. But you know what? Thank you for joining me today. I'll see you next time. Bye.